one, fight.
And that's the bottom line.
And his kick is good.
I need a weapon.
You cannot escape.
You forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
Here we go.
It's time for the main event.
What's up, and welcome to the Single Player Experience, the premier podcast where you can find out about the good games that you should be playing. And wow, I have a doozy for you. I have an absolute banger of an episode for you today because we have Jan, we have Victor on, and we're going to be talking about their game, Pro Basketball Simulator, like 26. And this is like amazing to me because I've been playing this game and I'm a basketball head. Like I'm one of those guys who loves the NBA season. I love like getting into the nuances of the Olympics and everything in between. So I'm like, this is absolutely up my alley. Guys, how y'all doing today?
Thanks.
Right, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No, man, thanks for being on. I want to ask y'all, before we get started, basketball, like, is this in y'all's DNA? What inspired this game? Like, what's y'all's origin story?
I guess Victor should start on this one because he's the one who started it all.
Yeah, I can start. I've been playing basketball for 15 years. We had a local team in the first division in France. So I was going to every game, home game. I guess that's where it started. Yeah. Been playing since, and I always wanted to have such a game when I grew up, playing the football once. And I always thought, if it doesn't exist when I grow up, then we have to make it, I guess. That's how it started.
So what was like the first intro weeks of this idea that was percolating in your head? Like, like you said you had this idea, like what was the main catalyst in the igniter for like the first couple of weeks there?
I think it started as, obviously basketball is not that big in France compared to the US. At the time it was barely on TV and my team wasn't the biggest team, so it was never on TV, was not able to play with my team in any game. And I think that's what I missed the most. And I always thought, okay, we need to have that. I'm a bit sick of playing with the NBA only. I want my
So did you grow up appreciating like players like Tony Parker and other France players playing in the league?
Yeah, I think for me the player was Boris Dio.
Boris Diaw, yeah.
Yeah, was my favorite one.
Yeah, go
Very
Spurs.
underrated, I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
at the time the league was small, like the European leagues were a bit smaller, and it was obviously more exciting to watch the NBA. But now I think there's so much talent everywhere that it's really cool. You can get good basketball pretty much anywhere in Europe.
So I gotta ask you, like take turns here for a second. With Pro Basketball Manager 26, like how would you describe this game in your own words?
Maybe Johan once. No.
It's
Yeah.
well,
In my own words. Yeah, I think it's a basketball simulation that is trying to be fun. We're trying to find a good balance between being a complex game for nerds, but also something that is enjoyable for people that don't know that much basketball. I think like if you compare to football games, I think basketball can be much harder to get into when you don't watch it. And I think that's what we struggle with. The tactics are much harder. So yeah, at least that's what we're trying to do. Trying to have as many leagues as possible, trying to have female leagues as well. Very happy with that and proud of that.
So Jan, would you say that's a good description for the game for you as well?
yeah, I think the main issue is that it's can be a bit daunting if you don't follow basketball. So I think for and foremost it was a game designed for basketball fans. But now we're trying to move a bit away from this, like to make it appeal to a broader audience. But I think it started as something quite nerdy and lots of numbers, and you have to spend a lot of time to actually get the grips. So
So this is a brand new installment, brand new year. You got the 2026 edition of the game is now out. And what was your biggest goal for your team that you wanted to achieve with this year's iteration?
I think that was the 3D. Like if you compare to last year's edition, it was it was pretty old, to be honest. So yeah, I think we were like, okay, we need to dust it off and make it look a bit more modern, like a like a modern experience. It's not like NBA 2K, but it's manager game, so it's not the same thing. But yeah, I think the 3D was the main focus here this year.
So what was some of the challenges of moving the game into that 3D scape versus, the last year's I would say like almost like art style.
Well, we reworked the engine, so we kind of moved to a new engine. So that was, I think, the main issue there. You have to do a lot of work to convert everything. Like all the animations had to be redone. Like we had the new characters as well, so that took a lot of time. It's like time-consuming stuff. But now we've got a good base to build on, so that's good. We can actually add more animation next year. We've got a mocap suit that we bought, so we can record some animations ourselves, or even go to a club that we work with and ask a few players to do some good moves for us.
So speaking of new animation, with the new animation system, like I want to ask, like, what part of that system are you most proud of in this year's game? Now that you've moved over to a 3D engine.
I think it's more for Victor this one.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think yeah, I'm not sure if it's one animation. We're very proud of the work that's been done because it's a lot of invisible work before we can have good bases. For instance, if we want better players, we need to add new haircuts, right? Hairstyles, and we need to add 30 of them, and then do the same for the women. And that suddenly you end up having 60 of them, and that's a lot of work. And if you want to add them, you need to add them on all the players in the database. So we spent quite some time doing that, making new animations. I I think I'm very happy about that, about the way we learned about motion capture as well. So we haven't used it enough yet, but I'm really looking forward to using it more. Um, so we can have better layers, better shooting, better
Yeah, and different ones as well. Because I think we
reactions.
only have like a couple of variations of each animation. So I think the aim is to get a few more, so it looks, more diverse on the
Yeah,
court.
less robotic, I guess.
Yeah, less robotic.
I like that. I like that. So that's one of the things we can see in next year's iteration is some of the improvements in the animation, I'm guessing.
hmm
Absolutely love it. So I want to switch gears here. I want to talk about one of the big additions to this year's iteration, and that's like the getting the licenses to like the basketball championship league, and that's huge, like absolutely huge. Like, how did that come to be? What was some of the challenges that came to bringing that into the game?
We already had so the FIBA was quite keen on the game, and they were like very interested. They could see the potential. Obviously, we are very small, so they knew they were not going to get rich from it. But I think it was a way for them to promote the game as a whole and have a di- digital product in which their league was featured. That's always good, I think, especially now that they want to probably have a younger audience as well. So that I think it all fits in. So yeah, and it took years. It took years to achieve. Lots of discussions. But yeah, in the end, they were like, okay, let's try, let's do it, and see how it goes.
That's amazing. So with the game becoming like the game of basketball becoming as international as it is, with all these leagues becoming like more profound in the world. Like it's so cool to see all these leagues being represented. I was while I was playing the game and choosing my team, the team that I was going to actually represent my actual play style, I happened to notice that there was leagues across the world. You had leagues in Italy, you had leagues in Germany, France. There was leagues in Tokyo, like in Japan. It was like all encompassing. Like how much of a effort was it to get all these teams represented in this game? Because that's massive.
It is massive, yes, but let's be honest. So we do have like a very detailed stats and scouting for the leagues under license and the NBA, of course. But the other ones are not that well maintained, so they might not be that accurate. But overall, yes, it's a big job to just have all these players and all these teams in the game. It's
So so another thing that kind of changed in this year's iteration was like team chemistry and morale got a major upgrade. Can you break down how these systems actually work, for the people who haven't played this game before?
Yeah, we wanted to add uh, more to do in between the games first. We thought that was a good start. So basically now you will have leaders and influential players in your team. It's based on how long they've played together, on their mental attributes. It's also based on their experience, I think. And long story short, the higher the chemistry, the better they play together in game. And yeah, we're really excited to work more on that, and we hope we can do more also in the next month or next year. We can imagine so much, like maybe they want to join the team because they know the leader of the team, like it is in real life, right? Like you may want to join the Lakers because LeBron is there. Like we'd like to build on that, so it becomes a bit also like a manager game, but outside the court.
That's really cool. So like it seems like y'all are really going to get into like the granular details of locker room dynamics, and how they can affect on-court performance. Is there is there a certain like rivalry goal that's going to happen with that as well? Like I know like you mentioned the pros of having a teammate that you like so much. Are you going to do the opposite in the inverse as well, where you kind of have maybe like players whose personalities conflict with one another?
I think that's a goal. Yeah, like today, today players can be friends in the game,
Hmm.
and that's actually giving you a bonus. But yeah, I think that's really something we want as well. Like that maybe they fight sometimes, and
Yeah,
maybe
I love.
they dislike each other, and then you get a malus for that. And yeah, and you have to handle the conflict. I think that's part of basketball as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So in this game, in this year's iteration, preseason planning is more detailed. Like what's the most surprising strategic decision players miss early on?
About preseason.
Yeah, like like when you're like I was setting up my team for instance,
Mm.
and there's a lot of preseason decisions such as like setting up your only like your early opponents. There's also like setting up your roster. You have sort of some of the early onset decisions such as like sponsorships and everything like that. What do you think like
Mm.
some of the major implications of like these early preseason decisions happen and affect your major overall season,
Yeah, I think I really like the way we've done the sponsors part, because I think it gives the player some choice, right? You can decide on your goals. Some of them you have a few options. So even though you choose maybe a bad team, you will have some goals that you can. Yeah.
And some of the goals, for instance, one of them I happened to see was just like have a player under 26 on your team, which is really good for rebuilding teams, such as like
Mm.
like the Hornets, for instance, who might be like on the bottom of the league as far as the NBA goes, like closer to like the play in or like the lower tiers of that part of the league, but then they have something to work for with those sponsorships because they have a player under 26, so that meets like a certain goal, and there's a financial incentive attached to that, which then helps the team further. I like how all of those things combined to where it adds to the experience of the game. Like it feels like
Mm.
it's not just simulating a basketball team and then putting them on the court and seeing how everything meshes together. There's also like the business aspect you have to think about with this game as well. So I'm like, how was some of those decisions made? Like was that early onset goal of this franchise to have like the business meets the on court chemistry and the on court like play is of the game as well?
Yes and no. I think, as Johan said, the first versions of the game were maybe too nerdy. We had a very accounting heavy management where you had to know too much about money and finance. So we reworked the sponsors a few years ago. I think the main goal is to try to have some business logic and some. Yeah, you have to make sure you have enough money and everything, but we want you to have fun with it also. It shouldn't be too realistic, I think. Like that's why we have the facilities in the game, right? You can expand your arena, you can expand the shops, you can build a VIP center. That's a bit unrealistic, but I think that's fun. Like to let the user build things fast.
I like that. It gives you control of the franchise, in a way
Mm,
that makes you like for a lot of people this is a role playing game as well. We want to be in the hands of a general manager or the owner. So I'm like that sort of
yeah.
freedom, however unrealistic it can be sometimes, feels fun. I like that I have control of my whole entire, organization.
Yeah, that's what we try to achieve. The balance is not that easy to find, right? Some people will find it unrealistic because, in real life, if you want to develop your franchise, you will have to wait 15, 20 years, right? So that everything is built. But if we tell the players to play 20 seasons, I'm not sure they will have a lot of fun.
I don't think anyone is going to use it. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
that's the balance to find, I guess.
That's very true. I want to switch gears and ask you, like we talked a little bit about like some of the granular details, and one of the things basketball savants and like basketball aficionados really love is like the analytics, the stats, the data, the simulation parts of the game. Advanced stats are a big part of modern basketball, with everybody tracking analytics and everything. How did you decide which analytics to prioritize in PBM 2026?
I think I'm not sure we decided on a very logical way. We implemented the easy ones, I guess, the most common ones. Also, I think in Europe they might not be as big as in the US. We don't have as many stats as there is in the NBA. So I guess we take we get the
I
influence
mean,
from
you
there.
you got a lot in there though, like surprisingly. There's a lot of for people who want to get granular, there is a
Mm,
lot of stats in there that reflect I would probably say a good representation of modern day basketball, you still have your, points, your assists, your
mm.
rebounds and all that kind of stuff. So you still can
Yeah.
track like some of the basic analytics, but then you also have some advanced, stats and metrics such as like one of the things that really surprised me about the game is how the stats you can track about like your player's morale in game and the different things that you could say to a player to where it might affect their performance by a little bit or raise their morale, and which has a positive effect on their performance as well.
Yeah, we're trying to build that as well. Like every year we add new factors. I think we have like 50 different ones in the game. It doesn't seem that much, but I think it brings a lot of life to the game. That's the overall goal, right? Like to have something to do between the games, so you're not too bored. So we so you bring challenges to the user, I guess. Like if it's just making your tactics once and then you play all the games, it's not fun. So we have to find events, find things, people like players fighting, players happy, and yeah, we try
Yeah,
to
I
work
think
on that.
the idea was to have non-basketball fans play the game as well or enjoy the game. Like some people just don't like basketball or don't enjoy basketball that much, and they would still play the game. They just sim all the games and do everything else basically. It's in between the games.
How does that feel for y'all to where like people who don't even like basketball or not even fans of the game are gravitating and still getting into the granular nerdy details? They're still enjoying the actual video game itself, even though they don't like the sport that the video game is actually about. How cool is that?
Good gameplay mechanics, I guess, is what you need. Yeah, it's a bit strange, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think yeah, when someone says so on Steam or on Discord, I think I'm very proud. At least I feel good. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
So
it's because
someone that
the
doesn't
game
like
is good.
basketball just likes, yeah.
that's really cool. So like I want to ask you, in this game, youth development got deeper as well. What factors influence whether a young player or young prospect becomes a star in this game? For those people who like me who like to rebuild a franchise from the bottom up. Can you give us a little details about that, please?
Yeah, well, you have two aspects, right? You have the players already in the game. So Johan goes through the whole list every year, trying to give them potential, like a rating, like hidden attribute they all have. We try to be a bit stricter this year, so only a handful of players are actually superstar material. Um, and then you have the players that are generated by the game, which will depend on your facilities, right? So if you have good facilities, you are more likely to get superstar material players. But then it also depends on how much they play, in which league they play. If you make them play in a like fourth division in France, they won't improve as much as in the first one. But in the first one, they might be too weak at first. So yeah, it's a lot of factors.
So, I want to ask you, like, when you are playing this game, on the screen right now, it's like I'm going through some of the gameplay of some of the mini expansive leagues that they have. Right now, they're showcasing Brazil. What is some of your favorite leagues to actually get, to start a franchise with in the game?
I think I'd like to start from the bottom. Like so, like the lowest division we have is like it's the fourth division in France. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool because that's a big challenge. You go from the fourth and you're trying to win the Euro League, for example. So that takes a lot of effort. Otherwise, like unknown countries, actually I quite like playing with a women's team because the database is much smaller, so it's not as overwhelming. So it's a bit easier to, I guess, find players and stuff. It's also a bit different. So yeah, I like it.
That's really cool. I love the inclusion of like women's basketball in the game as well. So like it's not just a men's league out there. It's like there's really a lot of representation across all the basketball in this game, going from like Germany all the way to Finland and everything in between. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely stacked as far as like the roster is concerned. I want to ask, like for us basketball nerds, how do you approach integrating draft systems from different countries and leagues in this game? That's a meaty one. It
You
is.
want?
That's a meaty one because I'm like, it's
I
a
think we only have the draft for the NBA, but we
okay.
know that other leagues do have drafts as well. But at the moment, it's we're trying to focus on the big leagues.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So is there a feature in long-term save files that players haven't discovered yet or that you expect them to appreciate more over time?
Like a specific feature.
Yeah, is there like a specific feature that you feel like you think players, especially in this game, like this new iteration, that you expect players to come to love as they play the game?
maybe the youth development is probably a lot more balanced now. So it's much harder to get good players from your academy. So it takes time and effort, and yeah, you only get the reward at the when you do things right, I think. So it's yeah, it's rewarding, I think, when you do it, but it takes time. So
I like that. I like that. So, so with PBM this year, facilities management now affects training, injuries, and youth development. How deep can players go with upgrading and balancing these systems?
I guess sort of tweaking. You need to see what works and what doesn't. I think it's quite a bit of back and forth, unfortunately. It's like some sort of like the little detail you need to dig into. It's and yeah, and see what the best balance is, basically. I don't think there is a magic formula, or maybe Victor would know better, but I don't think there is.
No, I think we also try to build the game so that you don't have to do everything if you want. Like if you don't want to touch the facilities and want to focus on
Yeah, you don't have to.
getting established players all the time, then it's fine. You can also do that. If you want to focus on getting young players, you can develop your academy. I think that's what we try to do. So
I
there's
love
not
Yeah, usually
one way.
depends where you spend your money, right? If you
Yeah.
want to spend it in the academy or by paying a big buyout fee, it's up to you.
I love that flexibility because like you can kind of choose what part of the game you want to manage and emphasize. Like you can choose to have a squad that is all about training, all about the youth movement, and all about like growth and personal growth in your players. Or like I'm here in Texas, in Dallas, Texas specifically, where I'm a big fan of the Mavs, and right now the team is like injured, like very injured. You have Anthony Davis injured, Kyrie Irving injured, Deontay Exum injured. It seems like our mascot should be a band-aid at this point. So for me, if I was managing a Dallas team, it would probably behoove me to more focus on like facilities that are more appropriate towards making sure my players can recover quickly and stay on the court. So I like how with different teams, you can have different philosophies on where the money goes and what things to emphasize, whether it be training, youth development, or injuries. So I like the balancing and the upgrading of those systems. It's almost an RPG element in the game as well. I like that.
But
Yeah,
it's not that deep. But yeah,
I like that. So I want to ask you, with games like this, especially with a PC game like this, mods normally come into play. What's some of the fun or unique mods you've seen fans make in past versions?
I think there's always a few very involved people who build like mods for months and months, and then they just release that, and it's like you've got like 5 divisions in Spain, you've got 4 divisions in Poland, and just like, how did you even get all that info about players and stuff in the first place? So you're
Yeah,
like,
no, we have
wow, that
very good
takes a lot
modders.
of work.
I think Victor from Discord often also adds U19, U18 players. I think like he adds a lot of. Yeah, that's insane.
Crazy stuff.
That's
It's
really
like so
cool.
much work.
That's a lot of work, but how cool is it that someone took that time to like add some of these like really cool and unique mods to your game,
Yeah, it's a great
That's so
testament.
cool. I think. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I think it's so cool. And we try to help him as well. I think that's also what we want, right? So we check with him or with the ones making the mod, say, okay, how was it to make the mod? Was it hard? What do you need to make it? And then we try to make tools for them to help them as well. So
Yeah,
it's
to
a
make
bit
it
easier.
faster.
I want to talk about like the pitch for the pitch. When I usually have like devs on, I want to give them time to actually say to the audience who this game is actually for. Like what type of gamer would really love Pro Basketball Manager 2026. So I'm gonna ask you, who is this game for? Give me the pitch. Tell the people like this. If you are this type of gamer, this game is for you.
I think you need to like manager games in the first place. Um, basketball maybe, not necessarily. It's a plus, but I would say if you like manager games, simulation, then I think you'll like it. If you like basketball, then you'll like it even more. I think this is how I would probably say it.
Yeah, I think especially if you like international basketball and
Oh yeah, international
like to
basketball,
know
you're gonna
about
love
the
it.
players and like to watch the World Cup or the Olympic Games. And yeah, I think if you like the frustration of not being on the court, maybe. And
Yeah, I'm one of those guys who love this game is right up my alley. Like I'm one of those people who love simulations, manager games. I love the game of basketball, and of course, being about 5'9", 5'10", I was never going to make the league in the first place. So this is like all the things that I get to live through. You know, like managing my own squad and trying to have that like rebuilding process of making my team a championship contender in the league there. So guys, I love the game. I want to ask you know, making an iterative game of like taking from one year to another, like what's some of the challenges there?
We name them all. I don't know, no, because it's just the two of us, right? So and not even full time for Victor. So the problem is that we need to maintain this new version for like a few months, like update it, you know, fix all the bugs, and then we have to straight away think about the next one. So you quickly end up with like a very short development time, like probably talking about 7, 8 months tops. It's just it never stops really. So for us, it's tricky because yeah, we don't have the resources basically. We're
yeah,
not
I
big
think
enough yet.
that's the exactly that the when I'm alone making on the coding part, for instance, then if we decide to say, let's say we go to this new engine and that's going to take 3-4 months, but that's 3-4 months out of 8, right? So it's already half the time, and that's not going to change people's life, right? And it's going to be almost the same game with the new engine. So we also have to think about things like that when we start a new project that we think will be great in 2-3 years because we have to build on it. Well, then we also have to find features and stuff to add to the game that people will see and enjoy. So yeah, short development time I think is the biggest challenge. And
That's
also basketball, international basketball can be a bit unstable. Like so, teams go bankrupt every year. Johan has to go through them, change their name in the database, change the players. That takes a lot of time. We have like 2,000 teams, I think.
yeah, absolutely amazing roster of teams here. So like with PBM, was this y'all's first foray into video game development or in general, or what's your history like with video game development?
Yeah,
For me, yeah.
well, it's been a while that we've been making it for a while, but yeah, it started as a student project for me when I was bored at school, and I just decided, okay, I make it because it doesn't exist. So it was my first game, I guess, first software and first game. And, we got better every year, I guess.
What about you? What about you, Jan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a coding background at all. I mean, I was in physics before, so I do have like some knowledge, but it wasn't really my forte, I'd say. So yeah, just learning as we go. But passion and dedication can move mountains.
Yeah, it really can. It really can. So, I want to ask, we talked about team chemistry, we talked about locker room dynamics, preseason planning. How do you refine the negotiation system to make transfers and contracts feel more realistic?
Well,
Because
first of all, I think yeah, sorry.
that's a big part of basketball, like trading and contracts and all that kind of stuff. So how is like the refining process in that?
Well, we spend quite some time reading the feedback first. Then we ask the community what they think, and then we first try to see where the game fails the most. It's quite hard to build such a system, especially when you have so many leagues. You want again to have it fun, but also realistic. Like if you can get LeBron in the last division in France, it's not fun. But you should be able, when you play in France in the first one, to maybe get some old NBA players, right? Like just for the fun. Like Mirotic went back to Spain. You should be able to have those players sometimes in some conditions. So we try to find the right balance between in that, but it's not easy because obviously many players in Europe could play in the NBA and vice versa. So yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge is between the NBA and Europe, I think.
Okay.
Or between the very small leagues and the bigger leagues. Like you have many players in South America, they have the level to play in Europe, but they don't, right? Because they would rather play at home. And that's tricky for a computer because the computer will just say, okay, this player is good enough, I will make him an offer. But if the system is good, the player should reject the offer because he wants to play at home for a lower salary. And that's quite hard to code, I think.
That would probably have to be like a personality trait of each individual character of like I prefer home or like home, like I know some sports games
Yeah,
that,
we do have this. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just we just need to have the data for each player, basically.
Yeah, man, that's a uphill task. That's a lot of players. That's a
Yes.
lot of players. So so we talked a little about your favorite league to manage. Do you have a favorite team that you like to personally manage in the game?
Not really. I just take a random women's team from second div or a random French team from the fourth division. Is usually what I do. The team doesn't really matter that much to me. So
It's just
yeah,
your home team is not very good, that's why.
it's still in the game though.
It still made it. Had to make sure your home team made it at that point, you
Yeah.
know? So so a couple of wrap up questions here. Like one is like for the first time, you with iterations like this, you're gonna have many people whose this is their first time playing a game in the franchise. I wanted to ask, what tip would you give to new managers jumping into PBM for the first time?
Read the tutorial. Don't skip the tutorial, I would say.
I would say choose a team that has money, but also plays maybe in a small league, or maybe don't start in the US because it's a lot of games, right? So if you go for a full season with 82 games and you're not ready,
That's the
that can
commitment.
be tricky maybe. Well, at the same time, if you know only the US, because that's something we haven't said, but it's almost two games in one, right? The US part and the Europe part, because in the US you have to do trades, you have the draft, you have the exceptions. In Europe, we don't have all that. We just buy players, we get them on a loan, we get them free agents. So if you're not used to that, that might be confusing as well, I think.
There is a little bit of a difference in that culture, because like for us over here, who especially people over here who don't in the US who don't understand like soccer and the transfer portals and how those finances work, there is a huge divide between like the way that the US league with the NBA works and the way that like the Euro leagues work, and how like all those finances differ, and then like the portals and transfers and all that, and you're like, I don't know what any of this means. So you kind of, there's a little bit of a learning process, going back, like trying to adapt to a new league. But that's fun, especially for a basketball player, a basketball like fan, to like figure out how those leagues that you've watched in, like FIBA, the World Cup, and all that kind of stuff operate, in the day to day basis. So that's a really cool like behind the looking glass experience that y'all are giving to people.
I think it can be fun. I think we could be better at explaining in the game, because it can be frustrating as well, right? Especially when you come to Europe, you want to play in the NBA, and then you're not allowed to renew your players at any time because you have specific dates. And coming from Europe, that can be frustrating. And
Oh
I
yeah.
guess the same goes the other way. Like in Europe, you can't just trade players if you don't like them. So you have to pay them their salary for a while. So yeah.
as a guy who's from Dallas and was heartbroken about the Luka trade, I wish it was that case where we just couldn't trade Luka away.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah, yeah, we were about ready to riot here in Dallas about that one. So I
Yeah.
I so we were talking about new experiences for new players and such like that. Taking your like, it seems like it'd be great to like take your time with a game like this and try to get to learn all of its systems. Do you feel like this with this iteration and moving into 3D, this is the best iteration of the game yet?
Sure. This is, yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, in terms of, I think just all the little details as well, the UI, the 3D, the small features here and there, like it's just more balanced. I think overall it's definitely more enjoyable than last year's. So if you have to buy one game, I would say buy the last one.
I like that. I like that. So your final pitch to people about this game, what is what would you probably say is the best feature about PBM 26?
Yeah, I think it depends again on your profile, right? But I really like scouting players, and you don't know anything about them. You have to find like their attributes. You have to, yeah, spend time scouting them and hoping they're good enough for your league, or hoping they will. Yeah, especially in Europe, I guess, when you try to bring a player that plays in a different league. I think I like that.
I like
Yeah,
that.
scouting is fun. I think for me it's more like the what do you call it? The velocity, like you build something, you start small and then you build something big. Like, you know, you just build your academy and stuff like that, and then a few seasons later you end up with like something like a powerhouse,
Yeah.
and that's super satisfying.
So what, with the wave of different manager games out there, like how does it feel to be amongst all these like really cool like sports manager games? This is, we're in a wave to where like manager games, especially with basketball, soccer, aka football and such like that, are popular, like more popular than they've ever been before. What is it like to be amongst those?
The same category yet, I think. Like the yeah, like Football Manager is obviously huge. And then you have some good baseball, hockey. What else is there? Like cycling. There's a few good ones. I think we're a bit below them yet because we're obviously a bit small, but yeah, we're trying to catch up. And overall, I think it's a niche, so that's also part of the problem because it doesn't appeal to a wide audience. So yeah, it's trying to find your audience. I think is the biggest challenge, I would
Yeah,
say.
I think it's both like great and challenging to be part of that group. Like obviously when people tell us, "Oh, I've been playing Football Manager and I like your game," it feels great. But also sometimes they come and say, I've been playing Football Manager and it's better than your game," and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
obviously. Thank, thank you, Sherlock.
But yeah, we want to try to get closer, but also we know it's not possible, so we try to go our way as well, try to make the game fun and enjoyable if you like basketball.
So, I like the game quite a bit, especially one of the things I like about it is like you can get as ingrained and detailed as possible, and then there's also like a charm to it, especially with like I loved how you took some liberties on the player names as far as like the US players and to change them just slightly enough, and I'm like, I like that. I like the charm, and I think like I got a good kick out of it for like the first 5 minutes of playing of just reading the names of US players. That was one of my favorite parts of like the early parts of the game. But then like I like this. I think y'all really killed it this year. And coming from this as a first time, this is my first year, really diving deep into the minutia and the granular details of this game. I think y'all absolutely nailed it. So congrats on launching this year's iteration of the game, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Uh,
So
it's great to hear.
So this right now, is it a PC exclusive?
PC and Mac, yeah.
PC and Mac. Any chance we'll get ports or anything for console lovers?
We wish. It's just we don't have the resources to do it.
That's man.
One day.
Have either of y'all played this game on the Steam Deck yet?
Last year's one did work. We don't have a Steam Deck handy. We usually ask people or friends. We haven't tried this year, I think. No, I haven't asked anyone to play this year.
Well, let me tell you from experience. I have a Steam Deck, and
you have a Steam Deck?
Yeah, and I was able to. I played this on my PC, and I played this on Steam Deck. Worked really well on the Steam Deck.
Okay, that's good.
Worked really well on the Steam Deck. It doesn't take any time at all to like boot up. The loading times are extremely great, and the touch controls are great, and then like the mouse like compatibility is like extremely well used in this game, well utilized as well. So yeah, so I had a pretty good experience with that on Steam Deck. So guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you are gonna go out and celebrate the launch of the game. Like, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us. It was good, yeah.
And
great chat.
One last question before you go. Just one last question. Before you go, well, two. I lied, two. So the first question is, where can the good people find y'all? Like where can people hit y'all up about the game? Is there a Discord link they can click to get in contact with everybody?
Yeah, Discord is the best way to get in touch with us, really. If you go on the Steam page, you'll have a link to our Discord, so that's easy. If people want to join, it's every year at launch there's more people joining. It's quite busy the first few weeks, and then it dies down as the season goes. But it's still fun.
No, but everyone, please join the Discord.
And everyone, listeners, I'll have the link to the Discord and everything like that in the episode. So all you have to do is click on the episode details of the description. The link to their Discord will be right there. So go join their community. And the second question, the absolute last question, I'll give out to y'all guys. You just launched a game. How do y'all celebrate?
Good question.
I think we haven't yet because, well, first we don't live in the same city, and also we had to patch the game a few times. So I hope next week we can do something. I don't know what yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't planned anything this year. Usually we plan something, but this year it's just been so busy. Like with the launch.
Haven't quite got a chance to yet.
No, not at all.
So what do y'all think? It's steak dinners? Like how are you going to celebrate?
I don't know. Well, so as Victor said, we don't live in the same country, so we usually just gather in the same place and go for a weekend. So just have fun for a weekend.
Yeah. But also, we've been talking to each other every day for the last 7 months. So maybe we have to take a break.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, guys, thank y'all so much for being on the pod. I really enjoyed PVM 2026. I think this is an absolute killer game. I can't wait for more people to check it out. Before we go, though, I've been Sebastian. That's been Victor. That's been Jan. I want to just say thank y'all for being on the podcast. The link to their game and the Steam page will be in the description of this episode. You can go and click. You can also, check out the channel to see my impressions of the game and see more clips while I'm playing it as well. So, guys, thank y'all so much for being on. This has been the Single Player Experience. I've been Sebastian. That's been Victor. That's been Jan. Until next time, enjoy that single player experience. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Remember, the best experience is a single player experience. This is a single player experience. Yeah, hit that like, hit subscribe, keep it locked, no doubt. We talk passion, progression, what this life's about. Got reviews so real, you can feel that route. When we rate them out of 10, we gon' spell that out. Indie love from the block to the cloud. Solo grind, we just speak it loud. Purchase fire, yeah, we run that lane. Best experience, y'all know the name. Running through these worlds, yeah, I'm taking my time. Solo in my zone, every story's alive. player experience. Reading through the words, long time solo in my zone. Smooth time, no one by my side. Wait for side screen, finding peace in the moments in between. Remember, the best experience is a single player experience.